Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay, joining me is ACHARA KIRK.
Hi.
We're gonna discuss 13 Reasons Why, the Netflix adaptation of the book, of the teen suicide novel.
Oh, we gave it away.
How did you know that in the show right from the get-go?
I'm kidding.
We're a little late on this review. I think that's a good thing because it gives us time to reflect. It gives you, if you've seen it already, time to reflect on the show, and it gives us time to reflect and think about how we really feel about this.
Yeah.
We were at dinner with your friends the other night because it was your friend's birthday.
Yeah.
And one of them brought up 13 Reasons Why, and she says, "Oh my God, have you seen 13 Reasons Why? It's so good." And I go, "Was it though? Was it?" And I just questioned her, and she's like, now that you said that, I don't think I liked it as much as I thought I did. And then we broke it down and went to everything. And so what I want to say is this. 13 Reasons Why, the first episode had me hooked. And it was the same situation that I experienced with reading Hunger Games, where after the first chapter, when Katniss Everdeen says, I'm gonna substitute for my little sister. As soon as she did that, I'm like, damn it, I have to read the rest of this book now. Because it ended on that chapter, and then every chapter ended on a cliffhanger. This had the ultimate cliffhanger in it, which is, what the hell did the main character do that was so bad? Like, what's on his tape? Because for those of you who aren't familiar with this whatsoever, by now you should be. The show is about a kid named Koay Jensen who was friends with a girl named Hannah Baker. Hannah Baker committed suicide, and she left behind 13 tapes, which are basically 13 people who she accuses as being responsible for her committing suicide. She's passed these tapes on, and they got passed around to all the people who were involved. The last one, basically, to get the tapes is Koay Jensen and someone else. I will keep that anonymous for the time being in case you guys haven't seen the show. So we'll try to keep this more on the less spoiler side.
Right.
In case you guys decide to watch it, if you haven't already. I think that the show had a lot of interesting moments, a lot of interesting performances, and there was a lot that it offered in terms of discussion.
Yes.
But I think that it was dragged out. I looked at some people's reviews just to see, how others felt about it. And that was one thing they commented on, how this book was pulled into 13 episodes, and it really didn't need to be.
Or it could have been 13 episodes, but instead of hour-long episodes, they could have been half an hour or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It would have been just fine.
Yeah.
It would have covered everything that it needed to cover.
Here's the thing. For whatever reason, Netflix wanted to stick to this particular format, and I don't exactly know why. Netflix is essentially like HBO. It can do whatever the heck it pleases, and for whatever reason, they decided to stick hard to this hour-long format. And I'm like, I don't really understand why you do that. Like, you didn't need to do that. One episode could have been 30 minutes, the next could have been 45, the last one could have been an hour, and I think people would have been just fine with it. I don't think anyone would have been complaining about that in particular. And I think that you would have had a more concise, compelling story. I think I would have finished it with a lot more enjoyment if it was formatted like that. I think one of the beauties of something being on Netflix or being on a platform like Netflix is it doesn't have to adhere to any kind of time frame like daytime television does, where it's like, okay, you've got 30 minutes and then you have to have a half-hour break, and then this break here with this long for whatever. It doesn't need to adhere to any of that.
I guess it's just like what people are used to. You're like, oh, this is an hour-long drama. That's what I'm watching.
As you know, I ended up fast-forwarding through a lot of the crap with Hannah's parents because it didn't actually go anywhere. A lot of this show in general was emo. In particular, Hannah's mom and dad were talking about absolutely nothing for most of the show.
I'm gonna argue, though, that a lot of the things that they showed was how suicide affects the people around you.
Fallout.
The fallout of a suicide. And I think that's what those scenes were. Those kind of emo scenes where people were having feelings about it and being upset.
Yes. 2 of those, I get it. But 13 of those, 26 of those, no thank you. No, thank you. Just no. You got 2 of those. That's enough. You don't need, because it wasn't just one time. It wasn't just once per episode. It was like we'd cut back to the mom and the dad at least twice per episode or something like that. And it's like, why? Why are we spending so much time talking about their feelings? Just move the freak on. We don't need to spend that much time, because I got the point. I understand. It hurts. It sucks. Everybody feels it. I mean, especially Koay Aiken. What's his name? Koay Jensen.
Koay Aiken. Who's that?
Some guy who won he won an American Idol or something.
have.
The show had a lot to offer. I liked the music in the show.
Yeah.
I thought the characters were very, well written. They each felt like very individual people. There was no bleed over in terms of the way people were. Some of the interactions I was like a little bit confused about. I questioned how realistic it was. I questioned some of the actors they chose for particular characters.
I thought it was quite diverse, the cast.
The guy who played Alex, I wasn't like really sure about him.
Yeah, it was hard for me to buy him as that character, I think. I was just kind of like, I don't really understand why the girls are crazy about you.
Yeah.
I'm confused. And now the boys like you, I'm confused too. But maybe that's the whole point. He's maybe supposed to be that kind of person that you wouldn't
I don't know.
think to be that character.
Let's jump into some spoiler territory here. So if you haven't seen the show yet, shut this off, go watch the show or something. I don't know.
If you want
if you
to.
feel like watching it. I'm not pushing it.
It's entertaining.
I would only push you to watch it to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. It's almost like The Walking Dead. I only watched that show as much as I did to be part of the conversation. But after season 5, I'm like, I don't care about this conversation. I walked away.
I'm leaving the conversation.
Yeah, I don't care. Leaving the AOL chat room now. Oh, wow, that dated me. Let's talk about the rapes that happened in this thing. Okay, so first, Jessica gets raped in front of Hannah, right? Mm-hmm. Later on in the story, Hannah's in the pool and Bryce gets in the pool and she doesn't jump out. If I saw your mom murder your sister and then she gets in the room with me, I'm running. I can't think of a good example right now. I'm just saying, like, if I saw someone do something super messed up and I was afraid of the same thing happening to me, I wouldn't stay in the room with that person. I wouldn't stay within a 10-foot.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, anyone in their right mind who saw the type of guy that Bryce Walker was, to be alone in a jacuzzi with him in your underwear, you would think, yeah, I'm gonna go home now. Bye. Later is like not even have the conversation with him, just like get out of the pool straight away.
And then add to the fact that she didn't say no. Add to the fact that she didn't scream. Now.
She was terrified though.
You see, this makes me a misogynist if I say anything contrary to what you just said. If I say anything that contradicts what you said, I'm a bad guy, and I'm not gonna fall into that trap. So yes, she was terrified, and everybody responds differently to terror. Some people stand there and they're silent and in shock. Some people run and scream.
It's that whole fight or flight thing. You can have the flight instinct in different ways. Now the flight instinct can be to physically run away, or it can be to just mentally check out, which I think is what Hannah did.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, she should have put up a fight. I agree with you that she should have put up a fight, but I guess that was how they wanted to portray the character, because she was already in a downward spiral, and then this happened to her, and it was like the final nail in the coffin.
The way they handled that scene when she was talking to the counselor and said, and the counselor kind of dismissed her, and she walked out, and she was on the microphone going, he's not following me, I've been standing out here for 30 seconds. I'm like, bitch, you don't need to commit suicide. You're pretty sound mind right now. The fact that you can do that means you're just asking for attention. That's one of the things that annoyed me. If she just walked away and someone bore witness to the fact that no one followed her, if somehow they were able to put together that he didn't go after her on their own without her stating it overtly, I would have appreciated it more. They could have made it simple. She walks out and then she turns around and looks back and he's not coming. She leaves. That's it. Her being so verbose about the situation led me to think that it was impossible that she would commit suicide.
The way that she spoke on the tapes and stuff, you think, oh, she seems like a really smart, level-headed person. So yeah, it does seem a little bit strange that she would commit suicide. For me, I think what the series does is important because it facilitates the conversation. It facilitates the conversation about bullying, about rape, about teen suicide and all of that. Was it a perfect portrayal, discussion? I don't know, because in some ways, I feel like it did glorify the suicide. Like if you're a young person who's thinking about maybe doing something like that, and then watching this show, you might feel like inspired, or like, wow, I can do that, and blame all these people. But personally, for me, I think suicide's really selfish, though.
I don't. Okay,
It
hold
shows
on.
the fallout.
There's a couple things you just said all at once. I have to unpack that.
Okay,
Okay. So
fine.
number one, you can't blame a TV show for a kid committing suicide.
I'm not blaming
No,
it.
I'm saying
they might be inspired.
some people are trying to lay that on 13 Reasons Why, and I say that's bullshit. You can't do that. Just like a lot of people blame Beavis and Butthead for some kid burning down his parents' house. You can't do that. Number two is you're saying suicide is selfish. No, it's not. I mean, yes, you can argue it's selfish, but the thing is that takes away agency from the person committing suicide, and it takes away what they're going through. Like Robin Williams committed suicide, and some people called him selfish. It's like, no, he was going through something that we can't understand. Just because you don't want to commit suicide, just because you have the wherewithal to not do it, doesn't mean someone else doesn't. Right? So there's that.
Okay.
But
Fine.
the one last thing I want to say is this, that I want to ask you about. What's one common thing that you notice about suicide notes in general? From what you've heard, whether it's Kurt Cobain, Robin Williams, whoever, like, what's the one thing you notice about suicide notes?
I don't know.
They're
Do
short.
They apologize?
They're short. They're always short. They're not 13 tapes long. The very premise of this show, I pull into question. Anyone who's able to reasonably conduct this dissertation over 13 cassette tapes is way less likely to commit suicide. I just don't see it. I don't think it's that plausible. Now, does it invite conversation about these things? Yes, it does. I'm in agreement with you about that. It has you talking about rape and perspective, and maybe you see the show and you want to treat people differently.
Yeah, I was gonna say
for
that.
maybe 5 minutes, and then you go back to who you were before. It certainly invites conversation. I am glad that it does. I just wish that, I don't know, it handled it differently somehow. I wanted something else to push her over the edge. Like maybe at the end of those 13 tapes, she was done. Like she was like, oh, you know what? I think I see a new perspective on things, and I can see my way out of this. But then something pushes her back into it, like really shoves her back into it hard, in a realistic and believable way. What happened in the last few episodes just pissed me the F-bomb off. Like, you get to Clay Aiken's tape, and
Clay Jensen.
I know, it's a joke now. Everyone gets it but you. So, where good jokes go to die. Joke graveyard. When you get to Clay's tape, and you find out he didn't do anything at all, I'm like, oh my God, you are such a bitch, Hannah Baker. Like, why would you do that to him? He didn't do as diddly squat. Why would you put him through that and make him suffer emotionally for doing absolutely nothing? Why?
She wanted him to know, that's all.
So write a short note. I love you, Clay Aiken. That's it. It's so dramatic.
Well,
it's so emo. It's too emo.
Can I talk?
Yes. God damn it.
My point is that she made these 13 tapes basically to blame everyone,
Yes.
right? And that's not fair, because you, Hannah Baker, were the one who took your life. You had agency, and yes, these people affected you, but you're 17 years old and things will get better. I just think it's unfair of her to have blamed all these people. And the fact is, whenever anyone commits suicide, people always ask those questions. A friend of mine knew someone, like a friend of hers committed suicide, and she talked to me about it, and she said, he called me a few days before and I was busy and I didn't answer the phone.
And now she has to
And
live
now
with that
she has
for
to
the
live
rest
with that for the rest of her life because she feels so guilty. She's like, what if? What if I had picked up the phone and talked to him? Maybe he'd still be alive today.
Yeah, she would. I mean, that's a very real possibility.
Maybe, but you or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Yeah, I mean, either way, it's gonna screw with her forever, and
Yeah.
there's nothing anyone can do about that. That is a byproduct of being in proximity to someone who commits suicide.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
or just dies. People do blame themselves, and that is one thing the show explores. I do appreciate that.
And also that people who know people who commit suicide, people close to them, are also
Likely to
more
commit
likely to commit suicide, like
Now,
Alex.
I have a question for you, and this is me playing devil's advocate. How sound of mind were you compared to yourself today? Were you at 17?
Oh, I was crazy.
Okay.
I was absolutely crazy.
So-
and I'm still not fully sane now.
I won't argue with that. But what I'm trying to say is, teen suicide is a believable thing to me because you're going through a lot of stuff. You're going through a lot of drama. You're going through hormonal changes. You're becoming an adult, and it's weird, and no one's really telling you like all the things you should know.
Feelings are intense.
Yeah, it's a lot more raw
Yeah.
than you're ready for. I do believe the possibility of teens committing suicide in the throes of all that. However, the way the show executed it, I realize the irony of me saying executed. The way the show executed it wasn't believable to me. I believe the possibility of teen suicide and someone like Hannah Baker, a real life equivalent, going through all that and committing suicide. Yeah, I can see that happening. But the way the show did it, I'm like, yeah, I don't see it. What killed me was the point when she's recording tape 13 and talking about dude not following her. I'm like, no, just no. No. Now you're writing a novel and you know what you're doing. You're very self-aware of the situation. Anyone who's that self-aware, I think, would be too afraid to follow through on it. Unless you are trying to create a story to showboat, to get everybody's attention. And at the end of it, that's what I walk away with.
Yeah.
Is she's just wanted attention. And I don't feel bad for her. I'm annoyed because now all these people are like.
I still feel bad for all the crap that happened to her though.
I don't.
She didn't deserve to be raped.
I don't think she deserved to be raped, but I don't think that the way she handled that situation was smart.
No, it wasn't, but she's a teenage girl. Often teenagers don't make the smartest decisions. I'm not, I'm just saying that.
No. The thing is, take any woman, right? How afraid is your average woman of being raped if they are in a situation where they're not with someone to protect her, protect themselves, they don't have anything to protect themselves on them, right? And they see a group of dudes who look suspect.
Yeah.
How afraid are they of rape in that instance? And
Very.
what are they likely to do? Move fast, right? Hannah Baker had confirmation that she was in the pool with a rapist.
Yeah.
It wasn't like suspect. It wasn't like maybe he's a rapist. It's like, no, this dude is a rapist. You should freaking run. Get out of, you're in your underwear. You know what's gonna follow. Get the F out of the pool now, you dumb bitch. That's why this show just made me so mad. I'm like, this is no. Just no. It was, yeah, no. I'm done. And for those of you guys who love the show, I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying it didn't work for me as well as I was hoping it would. Like the first episode was so good to me. I think I jazzed myself up a lot. Like I was like, oh, this is really cool.
You watched it before me and you were like, oh my god, you have to watch this. You're gonna like it so much. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, this is cool. But while we were watching it, it was like crack because you just had to know what happened.
And what's his name? Who played the gay Hispanic guy? Tony.
Christian Navarro.
When I was in high school, I just don't remember anybody like this.
I was talking about this with a friend of mine as well, and you're all around the same age, but yeah, we were just like, is this what high school's really like nowadays? Because I mean,
it felt more like
that.
It felt this show would have worked better as a college show because the characters, the way they were behaving, the intellectual conversations that people were able to carry. Like, I'm not saying high school kids are stupid.
It's like Dawson's Creek was though.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
Oh no, it's over now.
Yeah, exactly. That should be the way the song goes for 13 Reasons Why. Anyways, you guys, thanks for hanging out, especially if you hung out this long. If you guys are still here in the video, in the comments, say Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, that's the game I'm playing lately. I'm on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, that's a fun thing. And so other people who don't make it to the end will be like,
why?
Why the hell is everyone saying this? So anyways, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out other reactions, reviews, short films, and video game related videos. ACHARA KIRK has stuff on social media as well.